everybody, we are actually
Well, I've been sitting here on this dock by the bay, watching my blue skies turn to gray. Didn't know if I should run or stay, so I pulled up Mike's weather page, 'cause Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. Well, I admit that I had one or a few, 'cause I was down and I was feeling blue. But then I clicked on Mike's fan page. I saw all my friends now, I'm okay. 'Cause Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away. We all know Mike's a real fun guy. He'll track the storms as they blow by. But when the drunk donkey comes out to play, Miss Julie, take his phone away. 'Cause Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away.
Not sure what the gusts are, but
well, there's Louie and her
definitely,
no telling what they're gonna do.
I think we're
You
seeing a
know
little
he's
higher gusts.
got more than a million fans. Yeah, 'cause now Mike's weather page, you know he's got the
Trying to
news
keep
to
the
keep
camera from
you
getting
safe.
wet.
Mike's
Key
weather
Largo.
page
We're in the
is
eye of
only a
Ada.
click or two away. Mike's weather page, you know he's got the news to keep you safe. Mike's weather page is only a click or two away.
Everybody say it, ready? Yeah. What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday here, coming to you live from Oldmar, Florida. Sandwiched between Tampa Bay and Clearwater, basically, in the top of the bay. Hurricane Central lately. A lot of action in Florida this past few years. But we're going to talk weather here with you on this Wednesday. Hope you're doing well. We're going to say hello for a few mornings. Justin, we met yesterday. Where did we meet yesterday? I can't remember now. Cruising. I see your last name. Were you at the cruise? Shh. Well, I know I met a lot of folks yesterday. Ozzy, I go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, even if there's not much to talk about. And then on May 15th, we're going to start doing lives on every day, Monday through Friday. Most every day. There's going to be times that we can't. Oh, at the port. Cool, man. So anyway, it's Wednesday. This is Hunter. Hunter's doing awesome. Had a little visit at the vet Monday, and he's breathing a lot better today. He's doing good. No, nothing wrong with him. Just a little bit of allergies, as we all do most of the time. What's up, Richard Reimer? How you doing, buddy? Getting a little wind over there in O'Galley? We're heading over to Daytona for a little softball tomorrow. All right, so we got our MWP chat Brew crew. What's up, Bill? What's up, Bob? New people chiming in. Loretta Reed, good morning. Alicia from Charleston. Kitron, my South Florida buddy. What's up, Gus? What's up, Mr. Steve from Gulfport, Mississippi? Half inch of rain yesterday, huh? Yeah, you've been getting a bunch. Louisiana been getting a bunch there, right there west of you. What's up, Miss Vicky Hill? So we got a little bit of weather to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about El Nino at the end of the little show here, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about weather. Then we'll talk about A little bit about hurricane stuff. Got a lot of stuff coming up here for me this next month. We're doing I think I'm doing 6 hurricane expos. Next one is this Saturday at the Nielsen Building, which is in North Pinellas County here in Oldsmar. Doesn't matter if you live in Oldsmar or not. It's welcome all. Furman Power Equipment giving away a generator free. We got a beautiful facility. Got a bunch of government agencies are going to be there on hand for information. We have a lot of vendors coming. I'm doing a presentation at 11:45. We've got a nice auditorium there. I'm pretty excited. Big screen TV. I got some slides for you. So we'll be there this Saturday. And then we got one in Palm Harbor. We got one in Dunedin. I'm doing the RV show, one in Orlando coming up. Maybe the Villages if it works out. Madeira Beach, my buddy Jay. I can't make that one, but we'll see. Might be a couple more popping in officially. I'll let you know. Oh, anyway, good morning, Sandy. Cape Coral, that's another one I was hoping to make, Holly, but we are in the Gulf Coast. That was the same date as Madeira Beach. Every year I go to the Gulf Coast Jam that week of May, and sorry. Kind of our little family vacay. I believe they might have emailed me. Port St. Lucie 6-7. When is that, James? May 6-7? Maybe I might be able to make that one. I don't know. Hey, getting excited there. Morning there, Richard. Another Richard. Got a bunch of Richards. Oh, June. Oh, heck, I don't know. That's April, May, June. I don't know. Is that our cruise there? It might be during our cruise, James. Morning, Mr. Gary. How's it going? Morning. Cool. All right. Well, we got rain in Texas going on right now. We'll talk about the future rain ahead. Kind of in a lull pattern right now, unless you're in the middle part of the U.S. I want to look at the Baton Rouge flood map. We'll look at that here in a second. Hey, you know what I thought was kind of funny to show? As we get closer to hurricane season, this is always happens. I get an email from Spirit Halloween. And there you go. Spirit Halloween. You want to get down? All right, everybody say goodbye to Hunter. He wants to go play with his brother. Louis standing down here giving him looks. So it's always a sign that summer's coming when we start getting Halloween emails. And it's just so funny that this is the guy that we got in our front yard. We've had this guy for years. He's got one of the poles is broken. He barely hangs on. I got to use a bunch of stakes in the grass to hold up the one side. And but it never fails. Hurricane season inches closer, and we start getting Spirit Halloween emails. I don't know why. It just happens. Crazy. All right, so our Daily Brew brought to you by good friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Home of all your goodies. They do a lot of great community work here in our state of Florida, and one of that awesome things that they do is sponsor MWP. So appreciate their support for several years now. I think they've been supporting us as long before they started supporting us before Hunter was born. Hunter's over 5, and we've been with ABC over 6. So that's pretty awesome. So thanks to ABC for all their good stuff. Here's a radar look. Well, we say a few more hellos. This is their morning satellite right here. There's those heavy storms that came across middle Texas last night. A lot of lightning in those storms. And they're going to continue close to the Louisiana upper Gulf Coast today. We got a little bit of leftovers here. You can see this little line here inching towards the Carolinas and down in Georgia and South Carolina there. We're going to see some storms a little bit later today. We'll talk about nothing too severe, but we're still going to have some action there north of Florida. into the mid-Atlantic today. We got a little action over here south of Bermuda I want to talk about that's going to whip around, maybe bring up some rain possibly to Florida in the southeast early next week, but doesn't look like a lot. We'll see about that. So, morning, Marianne. Morning there, Ms. Mary Carroll. Valerie, good morning. So that's what we got. Weather in a nutshell. I should probably wear my hat. Weather in a nutshell. Got my hair. Anybody knows I got my ears lowered? Yeah, I plugged this in the other day. Oh, have you been following the journey of the weather radio, the Radio Shack radio? I could not believe that the battery worked, but it works. Check this out. Maybe. Oh, I have it off. Oh, I left it on. Wait a minute. Okay, well, maybe it doesn't work. I did have it on. Well, here's a plug for it. The battery did work. Well, anyway, it works. I hit the snooze. Maybe when I hit the snooze, it kept it on. The only thing weird about this radio, there's no volume on it. Yeah, it's dead. There's like no on-off switch on the thing. I guess the battery's for backup. So it's never supposed to turn off. There's no off button on this thing. But it works. The old Radio Shack weather radio worked. I can't believe it. I was going to put it in the kitchen, but Julie didn't like that idea. So, Michael Klein, yes. Sarah had a great birthday. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, there was a lot of hail the last few days, for sure. Crazy. All right, so Spirit Halloween, crazy stuff there. I want to share this again. We're almost up to $500. I told everybody about this a couple times now. We ran across Chris, who lost everything during Hurricane Milton here in Bay Pines area in Pinellas County. And we're going to match a bunch of that money and give them, because it was a touching story. Only been able to, share a few GoFundMes over the years because we get requests almost every other day. But I met him, walked beside him. I figured our paths crossed for a reason. He shared the story and felt like it was just meant to be, to try to help him out a little bit. So, hey, we're almost up to $500. And like I said, I'm going to donate a bunch from MWP, once we decide when to call it quits. So, hey, awesome. Thank you all. If you want to see the story, it's out there. Appreciate all the put in a little bit for our little effort for neighbors, helping neighbors. Now, this is crazy. I've been showing a heck a lot of this. This isn't anything to worry about. I made that clear a bazillion million times. But it is a low pressure area that was trying to get spinning. That was this morning's satellite. Remember, this area was down in Hispaniola last week, and it kind of drifted up north just east of Bermuda. Then it went south, and it's just lingering there. But it's almost cut off now. It's trying to become its own little low pressure area. No, very unlikely it'll be named. Never say never. But it's got a little spin this morning. Got spinach. Right, a little spinach. That's live. That was this morning. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's not going anywhere. If anything, it'll go back off to the northeast. But hey, it looks cool, right? It brings a lot of rain down the islands. I know we got folks in the Virgin Islands that watch us, and all the Lesser Antilles down there, and we've had a lot of folks from Barbados chiming in, the ABC Islands over the years. But there's little rain pulling up because of this low pressure area spinning, and it's not going anywhere. But it looks cool. Looks like a duck. Here's the winds. You can see that it's not quite cut off yet. It's more of upper level winds. That's about it. Big broad low pressure area. Nothing tight, clustered. But that's what it is anyway. All right, what else we got? There's our race car. I want to show you this. This is pretty cool. We had our car this week at the Rock, and the Furman Hurricane Awareness Machine looking awesome. Got a top 20. This is a cool picture I saw yesterday. Got our name on the hood, which was pretty cool. So I made sure to thank our boys and girls at Furman for letting us hitch a ride and race the Rock. We've got 2 more races coming up. We're also going to be at Talladega in October So that'll be fun. That's where we go camping. We'll have the number 7 Furman Hurricane Awareness car with Mike's weather page on the hood. But that's what it looked like this Saturday in the Xfinity race. So thank you, Furman Power Equipment. 30% off, as you know. Season is inching close. What else I got to open up here? I just like showing all this stuff out. So what was this yesterday? I had a bunch of people wonder, what the hell are you talking about? Mary loves your Furman. That's awesome. What's up? Morning, Greg. Morning, Terry. So this is the bottom of my truck. This is way down here, like by your knees, right? So when I first bought my truck back in 18, this over here was a switch. My pointer trying to load up. This was a switch at 18, and then I added this one here, just figured because it was the same spot. But the problem is when you're driving, you can never really see the light if it was on or off, and your knee was in the way. Then I added a CB here, and it kind of blocked it. So the last couple of years, I'm like, what I got to do? So I made a little spot. I pulled the dash apart, ran the wires up there, and I got 2 little switches right by the center steering column. And they're bright red because I want to be able to see them. And there they are. And then I thought this was funny. So they gave me all these stickers. And I'm like, well, there's no sticker for Floodlight 1 or Floodlight 2. But there was a Bigfoot sticker and there was a turtle sticker. So I put the Bigfoot sticker thinking on the roof because that big bright light is more high. Well, so my thinking was Bigfoot's tall. In theory, right? 8 foot tall, right? So the big tall light is detect Bigfoot. And the bottom light, which is down by the bumper, is for the little guys like the turtles that are on the road. So the Bigfoot light's the tall light, and the turtle light's the bottom light. That's why I went to college. Yeah, right. I posted this morning, water temperatures. Good morning, Mr. Sherman. How's it going, buddy? How you been, man? Yeah, no rain out west either. North Carolina, that's cool. Oh, I was just looking around the internet this morning and posted the water temperatures. A little curious. A little surprised over there by Canaveral. It was 82.4 degrees this morning. And they had a high yesterday, 83.7. But all the water temps, upper Gulf Coast especially too, around Pensacola up to 77 degrees. That's this morning. So it'll go up probably close to 80 today. It fluctuates usually 2 degrees a day, once you get a little sunshine out there. But we're inching up to 80. Cape Coral, 80 degrees this morning. Down in Naples, 80 degrees, 79. So getting up there. 88 I posted with my magic number. I can almost stand in the water when it's 80s, but 88 is when I go in the water. I also posted this morning. This is your rainfall through May the 3rd. Now there could be seeing a little bit of rain Monday, Tuesday. Trying to set up here in the middle part of the state. I got called out on it. They're like, yeah, yesterday you said it was going to rain. I'm like, well, if you look, this it never said more than half an inch. Never said really more than 0.2 of an inch. But you're starting to, we're seeing maybe some sprinkles, but this is not anything to write home about. When you measure rainfall and sprinkles, 0.2 over 10 days, But anyway, we could get some sprinkles on Monday. I'm going to show you. But anyway, overall, this is your rainfall totals for the next 10 days, all the way through May the 3rd. Can you believe we're talking about May already? Hurricane season starts in June, which is just a date, really. I hate that. But there you go. And everything's centralized in the middle part of the U.S. Centralized in central U.S. What's up, Stephanie Stearns? How's Miss Emily doing today? Don't you have a cruise coming up? 70? So anyway, there's all the rain the next 10 days. What else we got here for you? Temperatures. Let's take a look at that. So I'm always fascinated by this. Really fascinated by it. So we have a strong Atlantic high pressure right now. That's why it's windy. Actually, it's helping kind of keep the waters at check. If you look at the anomaly maps here, on Tropical Tidbits right here as it opens. Whoops, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not. Oh, I opened the wrong one. I guess I opened the wrong one. This one. Okay. The anomaly maps. That was your Klystron 9 temperatures, which we just kind of basically showed. Water temperatures actually almost normal, whatever normal is. But that's, good news, if there is good news, is the water temperatures definitely aren't what they were last year. Now, it can change. It is going to change. This a lot of upwelling. So when you get this strong, somebody asked me this yesterday, and two things happen when we have a strong high pressure system. We get a lot of sea surface temperature warmth, but we also get some upwelling too. So we've had a really strong high here the last week or so, and it's really been cooling the waters off a little bit, almost back to normal. So these winds help pull up a little cooler water from below the surface. This is sea surface temperature, but it's fascinating. It's here's your 7-day change. This is really shows you what's happened in the last 7 days. These are on tropicaltidbits.com. But water temperatures have cooled based on climatology for the last 30 years. Well, actually, not last 30, 81 to 2010. But basically, these strong winds that we've had, it wasn't just yesterday, it's cooled down a little bit. So if you're tracking average, Jesse says, get out the rain sticks. What are rain sticks? You mean like measuring sticks? We don't need them here. So anyway, the water temperatures, because of the strong high pressure, definitely helps, but it can change. But look at out west. Actually, a little bit of warmth out there. But overall, the pattern is long range. We're not going to get into all that. It'll change quick, if you're wondering. All right, what else we got? All right, so we talked about that. Let's look at temperatures. So I was talking about being fascinating. And when you do have a decent winds coming across that's high, look at the temperatures on the Florida East Coast, 80, 81, 82. Look at the upper Gulf Coast, 80, 81, 82, 83. But look at the Florida Central and West Coast, 89, 90. 10 degrees different almost. So this part right here is not affected by those winds. Things warm up inland. That's why we get the warmer temperatures. Valdosta, 89. Vidalia. Onions. But there you go. All right, that's your day. Tomorrow we got 92. 90 down in Naples. But look at the difference. 81, 92. 10 degrees difference. 82, 92, 81. Friday temps, same, inching up to the middle 90s now. A little bit warmer here for Florida West Central. Showing a 94.3 somewhere in the state. That's Friday. Here's Saturday, same. A lot of 90s, man. Look at these 90s inching up to Mississippi, Alabama now. Georgia. Even upper 80s in the Carolinas. That's Saturday. Sunday, we got a little, remember I was talking about that little chance we get a little system that's going to push that high pressure out of the way. It's going to rotate, and we might see a little bit more east flow, allowing moisture up into the southeast, maybe Monday. Now we're going to watch these temperatures probably drop a little bit. This is Sunday. Man, look at all these 90s, though. 94. This is hot, man. Middle part of the state, all 90s on Sunday. Might even get 94 somewhere here in Florida, 94.6. Now, this is a blend of models, so this is actually sometimes on the lower end of reality. You'll get isolated higher and isolated lower. And here's Monday. There's your cool weather coming in, starting to show, big difference from Sunday. There's Monday, and then back to Tuesday is that high builds back in. So Monday and Tuesday could be a little break in the heat and maybe a little moisture, and then we're back to heat again. So, but yeah, look at Sunday. Holy cow, that's a lot of 90. That's crazy. Let's zoom in on Florida for Sunday. Look at that, man. We got 94 in Bartow and Lakeland area, 92 in Orlando on Sunday. But hey, it is April, right? let's see what I like the Windy app here. I got the Windy app on my site. We can look at zoom in a little closer with the euro. So let's see, euro is usually the extreme on temperatures, but we'll see here what they show for Sunday. Oh, about to say 93 for Lakeland, 93 for St. Cloud. That's 5 p.m. Let's do 4 p.m., 3 p.m. About the same. 91 Tampa. So it'll be a hot Sunday. Valdosta 88, Albany 89, Dublin, Neal 84. Oh, let's see what Saturday was. Saturday was a little warmer on some spots, but that's the euro. But anyway, it's going to be hot this weekend all the way up to Virginia, basically. All right, so enough of temperature. Let's see what else we got. Storms today. Let's talk about the storms today. Here's your storms today. Now, look, we got green all the way down to North Florida, Georgia there, into South Carolina and North Carolina there. So storms could develop today. Nothing too severe. Organized, just some strong afternoon thunderstorms, maybe some hail. Today, we got a new system brewing out here. I mean, Texas has been getting back to back to back. The line that we just saw, now we get a new one later today coming in all the way to the Great Lakes. Now Thursday kind of lingers. That's because we got this strong high blocking things. There's Thursday storms. There's Friday storms. Not a lot of movement. Not a lot of severe weather expected the next few days. We do have another stronger system developing after the weekend. Here's Monday. We could start to see some storms on the day 4, day 8 outlet. Monday, April 28th. And then on Tuesday, about the same. So that could be a little more significant, possibly. You know, we get a strong storm, then a little storm, then a strong storm, and that's kind of what we're looking at Monday, Tuesday. Still see that big high blocking everything. Fire weather is interesting, though. Here's Wednesday. Look at that. West Central Florida, man, all the way in the peninsula. That's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we got 3 days of elevated red flag conditions with potential fire here because of that extreme heat. Winds, I wanted to talk about that just real briefly. Then we're going to talk about hurricane stuff. What else is it? I don't know. Indian rain dance sticks. Oh, Jesse, didn't know there was such a thing. Robin in Fort Stewart. Where's that at? What state? Morning, Nancy. What's up there, Vicky? What's 500? Oh, 500, James. Well, that's good news. Did you help? Maybe. Thanks. That's awesome. Hey, he's a good dude, man. I was very inspired by his positivity. We were walking next to each other. I was going back to the car and kind of looked at each other. Didn't expect to hear a hurricane story, that's for sure. Didn't expect to see that he was on the news after the storm too. So I trusted the guy. I believe in everybody, but I wanted to do my homework and I make sure, not that he was, but you don't want to put something out there and then find out it wasn't true. Well, it was true 100%. And the story on ABC, right after the storm, you could see the boat before and after in the water. And since the news article came out right after the storm, and he said he was waiting on trying to get it salvaged. Well, they took it. And it makes sense. If you don't have the money to salvage a boat, the state will salvage it, but you release all your rights to it. So basically, they just took it. And you don't get anything out of it. Georgia. Army base, Fort Stewart. I gotcha. Pardon my lack of knowledge on that. I wonder if we drove through that on the way to Talladega. Maybe not. I don't think so. Well, anyway, here's that big high. Here's those winds. If you're wondering why it's windy down in the Keys right now, there you go why. Looks like it's going to stick around a while. These strong winds. Last year, everybody down in the Keys were telling me how it was crazy winds all year long and kind of screwed up their fishing. A lot of local fishermen I met that actually go down to Cuba and they run people to fish. They said the high pressure last year was super duper strong, and it appears to be sticking around, which makes the seas really rough. Here's Thursday, man. We're talking, even some stronger winds, 30 through Marathon, Key Largo, South Miami. Sea breeze kind of stabilizing things here a little bit on the Florida West Coast, but that's some pretty big winds the next several days. Hey, you want to know a little trick on windy, by the way? I just learned it. Have you ever heard me complain about the zoom feature? So if you try to zoom right now where I'm at, if I do one click zoom, whoa! It's like, okay, I want to just do the upper Gulf, right? If I zoom out, watch what happens. Whoa, I want it. So, but here's what I learned. If you click and not roll, click, watch what happens. Nothing. Oh, there you go. You got to double click, I think. I don't know. But look, that's what I wanted. So you can zoom in by double clicking. But when you scroll, it's a lot bigger. See, when you scroll with your wheel, boom, boom. But if you click, boom. It's exciting to learn something new. Exciting. Hey, I was driving by Patrick's Air Force Base, so not Air Force Base anymore, but my dad went there. Now it's Patrick's SFB. And I was like, SFB, Space Force Base. And I told my dad that. He's like, what? Christine, talking. All right, we got a brew crewer down there. What's up, Christine? Really? Christine is verified. A lot of charters went out of business last year because they couldn't take people fishing. That's okay, I believe it. I talked to some of when I went down there for Raphael, and I do have a sticker on my truck because it was a tropical storm in the Keys. There you go, Shelly. Yeah, it was a little weird. So yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what's going on. A lot of winds. Well, we got a strong high pressure. And I tell you what, talking hurricanes, okay, strong high pressure, guess what? It basically blocks. And you get a lot of activity. That's kind of what you predict looking at a neutral La Nina year, is that high pressure system being stronger, pushing more systems into that Western Caribbean up into the Gulf. So that's kind of could be what we're looking at. Kind of could be. We'll start watching fronts early in the year when the fronts start coming into play. You can start seeing patterns early in hurricane season. The year of Ian, we were talking a lot about fronts. And I remember specifically saying early season, if we keep getting these fronts in the summer, if we were to get anything to the south develop, it'll likely get picked up and turned to the northeast because of these fronts. And it was the year of the fronts. And Ian got picked up and turned early, more frontal influence that year. So we're going to watch the strength of this Bermuda high all year long, and the timing of fronts. It's all about the H's and it's all about the O's or the L's, and everything meets in the middle. So let's hope that nobody gets impacted by a hurricane this season. But if we're looking at future look at things, then a lot of chatter too from my big dog professionals that I follow on X. They're talking about the cooling of the Pacific recently, and this is the section of ENSO, they call it, south of Hawaii, somewhere down there, but that is basically where they measure the temperature of the water to determine if we're in a El Nino or La Nina. That water is warmer than normal. This is the anomaly. So when that water is, orange, it means it's warmer than the 30-year average. Maybe I say average. People get mad when I say normal. Average. But it's cooler right now. So we're either going to be in a neutral or a La Nina peak season going into winter. And La Nina winters are usually a little more extreme than non-La Nina winters. So Holly said Ian was her welcome. Not a very nice welcome. 70 has a great question. Has there ever been a year Florida did not have hurricane impacts? Yeah. We're going to go into that. I think 2020, believe it or not, we had all that activity in the Gulf. But there was this, from 4 and 5, Katrina came across Florida, remember? And then obviously Katrina. Pretty much until Irma. Now Dorian, got close, but Irma, obviously 17. There was a pretty big break from 04 to, or 05 to Irma. I don't really know if we had any major impacts or not. I have to look. Major impacts. All right, so let's talk about weather. Hey, I met a couple yesterday from Myrtle Beach. I'm like, thanks for following. But it really hasn't been much there in the last few years. Good news for them, right? For sure. All right, so we're going to talk about some storms, I guess. So I was talking about El Nino, La Nina. Morning, James. What's up, buddy? Wasn't a very good softball game yesterday for Emily. They kind of hit her. Just like 2 or 3 runs earned, but wasn't one of her best. They did win a game, though. That was good news. Yeah, Jackie, we had a lot of, we had 4 storms in 04, and then 05 we had Katrina come across the bottom of the state. All right, so there's a couple things I want to show you, I guess, before we round it out. 10 o'clock I try to go to. So one cool link on my page here. Let me show you right here, El Nino. Okay, click on that. And we go to a page here where you can look at all the past years that were La Nina, El Nino. And you remember that little section of water that I showed you? If it's normal, it's in these black colors, meaning it's in a anything a half a degree below, half a degree above their mean temperature of 0 is considered neutral, meaning it's kind of normal. When we're in El Nino, we're in red. That water temperature is above normal out there in the Pacific, and when we're blue, it's below normal, red or blue. But I wanted to show you a couple years, just kind of interesting. So we look at years like last year. We were 23 was a El Nino year. Let's look at recent stuff. So look at 23 was an El Nino year. We'll pull it up. And what stands out with 23 is what happens with El Nino years. So when this water over here is warmer, we get almost a subtropical jet stream, a lot of wind shear during El Nino years. And we don't get a lot of activity here. We get a lot of activity here because this high pressure system is kind of blocking everything. But we also had, of course, I know I talk about it all the time, we had Idalia in 23. So little activity, a lot of wind shear, but we obviously it only takes one, and we still had Idalia that year. Now, last year, we started the season off in El Nino, then we went to neutral. It's kind of where we're going to be this year. So 24, we ended the season in neutral here, 24. And if we look at that year, last year, you can see the big difference. And we had not a lot of activity, but we had activity in the Caribbean. Less wind shear coming across in that Pacific, so we have more opportunities for storms to make their way westward. And that's usually the case with neutral and La Nina years, and we have less activity over here in the middle because we have a stronger Bermuda high. Stronger Bermuda high, more activity goes that way. Let's see let's look at another year that's kind of similar. So let's look at 24, 19. Sarah, you all right, baby? Drink some water. Sarah. So 19 was a El Nino year that went into a neutral year. And 19 was interesting because we had Dorian that year, and everything got really close here. So the Bermuda high was not as strong. But if you look at it, it was a longer transition here in 19 before we went into neutral. So we had a longer El Nino before we went into neutral. A little more high pressure. Sarah, drink some water, sweetie. Come on, baby girl. Get up. Hey, sit up. She's got the blanket over her head. Sarah, sit up, sweetie. She likes to lay on the couch with the blanket over her head, but when you're congested, you got to sit up. Let's look at some other active years. 20, 21, 22 were all La Nina years. I'm trying to find a year similar to what we're going into here, kind of a neutral into La Nina. See, 05 was kind of in the same boat that we were in now. We're kind of in a neutral, possibly in the La Nina for the winter. See what 05 looked like. We know Katrina, obviously. But 05, yeah, see, there's a lot. Holy moly. I didn't know there was that many storms in 05. I knew really, well, we had Harvey. Oh, man, I forget. No, that was a different Harvey. What am I thinking? But 05 was Katrina. Man, we had a lot of major hurricanes. See, I only started in 04, so I really wasn't keen on knowledge. But we had Dennis, Emily, Katrina, and Maria in 05. But see, if we look at 05, it was basically a weak El Nino that went into neutral, and by the end of the year, it went into La Nina, kind of what we're looking at this year. And you can see a lot of push west. So it's really, a lot of prediction is on this Bermuda high and where the storms are going to set up. It's just interesting. 2020 was a neutral year. See, if you compare where we're at now with 2020, we were kind of above. We were almost into weak El Nino into neutral into La Nina, and that could be kind of where we're leaning if this water temperature keeps cooling this year. Then, and if we end up in blue, 2020 obviously was a very active year, but you can see the theme is a lot of storms off to the west, a lot of activity. Now, of course, water temperature is a big factor, and a lot of bazillion other things. But I just wanted to show just a little bit how, if you want to do your own little research and look back, 92 started late. 92 was a El Nino year that led into neutral, but it was a later push, and you can see, same as we saw with 17 or 19, almost the same. If you look at 92 and you look at, let me get her some water. Sarah, come on, baby. Let me get some water. Come on, get up. Hey, Sarah. Come on, get some water. Drink some water. Sit up. Come on, sit up. Yeah, sit up. Sit up. Very good. Sit up. Sit up. Come on, get some water. We got her some water. So if you look at 92, we were a strong El Nino, and then we switched over to neutral. And it's kind of ironic if you look at 19, almost the same. At 19, we had Dorian, kind of the same history. If you look at 19 and 92, 92 was not on this graph. Oh, I think we do actually. You just got to type it up here. I think we can still do that. 92. Yeah, so there's 92. We had a strong hurricane, obviously. Andrew. Did I say Michael? But anyway, 92 Andrew. Same type of year. We fast forward to 17. And the point of all this is history kind of repeats itself. Then we go to 17. I'm all screwed up. 19. What am I doing here? I keep typing up the wrong numbers. 19. Hold on a minute. 17 was Irma. There we go. 19. So go back to 19 where I circled, obviously. Strong El Nino. So just 2 years, 92 was a strong El Nino year, leaning into neutral toward the end of the year. 19 was the same. 19 we had Dorian, almost the exact same track as Andrew. I probably did screw up the name, but you got the idea. So Dorian, almost the exact same track as Andrew, almost the exact same ENSO pattern. So I'm just saying you can really learn a lot from that Bermuda high based on other years where that shear sets up. And so definitely look at 15. Now 15 was a very strong El Nino. I don't remember 15 that much. Well, there you go. Strong El Nino. Look at that. Let's take the year off when we get a strong El Nino. Because 15 was a strong El Nino. We had basically 11 names. Almost nothing in the... Shelly, we're taking the year off when we have El Nino. All right. That just shows you. I mean, it does happen. Now, it only takes one. I know we talk about that. But we can tell with a La Nina year and a neutral year, we have more push west because of the high. And then we start looking at things like, when those fronts start coming down, the water temperatures, we won't really know where the water temperatures are going to be until we get out of this, April, May pattern that we're in. And we'll have Saharan dust early in the year. We always do. We don't, I don't think we need to really anymore. We don't worry about anything until 60. Now, last year, Barrow came across July, very rare system. Barrow fed off of that abnormally MDR hot water that we don't really have right now, but we could definitely, it's going to be there later in the season. There's already enough signs of that. So Barrow is definitely an anomaly, but that's fascinating, right? I didn't even know 15 like that. Another similar year, let's say, we're going to transition out pretty fast. That transition into El Nino. 16 is going to be tough to compare. 17, this is unfortunately what I, one of the analogs that I think somebody was talking about was 17 also. 17 and 25, we're almost at the exact same point temperature wise. Transition into the season La Nina. That's the wrong circle. We don't know this circle yet. But if we compare 17 to 25, we don't know 25 yet, but 17 obviously. Very busy year. As we transitioned, we started seeing a lot more activity in the Gulf. We had, 937 hurricane. Which one was that? That was Harvey. We had, of course, Irma. 1 is enough. 981. That was Emily. Oh no, 8 was. Which one was 981? Oh, a weekend a little bit before landfall. But we had activity in the Gulf. Even lower Texas had a few scares, but Harvey was a remnant low that came across, and it got beat up a little bit in the shear zone here, but it was able to push through that and get re-going again because the Gulf was very quiet. So 17 could be an analog year for what we're looking at this year. And then we can look back at temperatures, just for interesting. Let's look at 17 water temperatures for where we were today. Let's take a look at basically that region right there. I guess we can look at that. So here's where we're at. Water temperatures, above normal. This is anomalies. About a degree or two above normal. Actually, really, kind of normal in the Caribbean because of all that winds we've been talking about. It's still, above normal, 1.3, 1.2, 111. Where we're at now, obviously warm in the Gulf still, 3 degrees, 2 degrees. Now let's go back to this time frame in 17 and see what the temperature anomalies were back then. And it's a little bit hotter in the Gulf. But this is what I was more curious about, was the Western Caribbean, and really almost the same if you think about it. Half a degree, 1 degree. So the temperatures in 17 for this month of April. This is your degrees above a 30-year average. And you can see I would say on average a half a degree to a degree above normal, to be realistic. And then we fast forward to now, actually a little warmer. So water temperatures this week are a little bit warmer than they were in 17. So yeah, so anyway, no one could predict anything with the season except patterns, and that I believe in patterns, and I believe in children are our future. What song was that? Oh, what's your map? Oh God, I'm afraid to click on it. What is that? They want the 15 tracks? Is that let me see if I can click on it. I just don't want it to open up. There we go. Oh, there you go. 15. What are we looking at? Oh, 15. Is that the one you're talking about? Today is Administrative Professionals Day. Oh. What should we say? Happy day to Shelly? I like statistics. Click it. I did click it. 15? Is that what we're looking at? I clicked it. There's all kinds. You gave me all kinds of links. 5 consecutive seasons. Oh, God. Oh, there's your hurricane. Okay. Good stuff. Wilma. Forgot about Wilma. 05. Well, 05 was an active year, man. We had Katrina come through, obviously, and then Wilma. Late season storm. So anyway, 10-year break. Ivan. Oh, yeah. Ivan was a rough one. Pretty much 16. Was it 10 years of no hurricanes? Are you kidding me, Shelly? Pretty much. Yeah, I believe it. 05. So what did I talk about? So we started my story page in 04, and then we had 05 busy season. Then it was kind of nothing. 06, 7, 8, 9, 10. I trust your links. I clicked on them. 5 seasons. Hold on. I only have 3 monitors. There's your questions. Oh, there you go. AOML NOAA.gov. There we go. Nice. Oh, there's all kinds of stats on here. Jeez. You got all kinds of stuff on here. Nice. All right, anyway. Well, hey, that's about it. Hey, we went over 10 o'clock. Gotta love that. A lot of chit chat, a lot of garble Here's the map today, though. I do want to show this if anybody's tuning in. We've got some storms brewing later today. And it does include a lot of big part of the southeast there, minus the peninsula. Let's look at the radar and give you a future look at what it might look like. Well, let's go to Tropical Tidbits because that's a free site. So we'll go to Tropical Tidbits, hit HRRRRR, go to the latest full run, which is a 12Z. And here it looks like today. There's that big blob out in Texas right now along the coast. But we're going to see isolated storms here for the southeast and mid-Atlantic later today. You'll see them start to pop randomly. There they are, popping. Random. Very random. Very random. See, I know I get a lot of people upset when they see a map like this because it looks like everybody's going to get something. It just means this general area is going to be primed for something possibly. It doesn't mean everybody's going to get anything. And if you look at the HRR, very, very random showers popping throughout the day today. So not widespread whatsoever. Very random popping storms today. This blob in Texas actually is going to stick together here and reach the Louisiana. Oh, midday. Here it comes across. Going to be some storms this evening into tonight for upper Louisiana. And a lot of rain there across the Mississippi here overnight. And then tomorrow morning it's kind of making its way to North Georgia. This is tomorrow morning, North Alabama. Could have a little more storm threat tomorrow, actually, on Thursday. They don't even show it. I bet you they will. There's nothing showing yet for Thursday, but it's showing up on the HRR tomorrow evening, Thursday evening. Just keep an eye on that, probably. Hey, let's look at the river gauge real quick. I wanted to see the Baton Rouge. Wasn't that a Garth Brooks song? Call him Baton Rouge. So, hey, I got a cool partner. Jim Beam is hooked me up with a bunch of swag. Come as friends, leave as family, and we're going to do some fun stuff together since we like to do a lot of get-togethers as MWP. And one of the ideas we had, we're going to hook everybody up that comes by and hangs out. So we're going to have some free stuff at these expos. Julie's getting it all together tonight. So it's not for random people. It's for MWP fans. So if you are an MWP fan and you show up at one of these expos the next couple of days or weeks, then we'll give you some free swag. How you like that? That compliments of Jim Beam. So here's the last really, it went up to 41 foot. So Baton Rouge is expected to hit major flood stage now on the crazy. Now, well, we knew it was going to start now, the 24th, but look, May the 1st, 41 foot. Record's 47 foot. 41 feet. Flood stage is 35 feet. This is the Baton Rouge. This is all that rain we had a couple weeks ago down from up there around Tennessee, Kentucky, that's making its way down to Mississippi. And it's all going to kind of slow down. It's all going to kind of accumulate there. I guess they have some spillways. They're talking about maybe opening up. They don't know yet for sure. So it's not a very serious situation. It's just one that I wanted to point out that we're going to be in flood stage. And they kind of got it under control. You know, we'll see. Loretta Reed, Jim Beam was favorite. Yes. When am I coming to Pensacola, Huckleberry? I don't know. We'll be going to Panama City for the Gulf Coast Jam. If you're there, we'll be hanging out in the Jim Beam tent along with my buddy Mark Sheldon and Rendy as we get hanging out with the Panama City folks here at the end of next month. So that's it. All right. So as we close, we would love to pass along two things. One is my mobile app, and one is the Brew Crew. The mobile app is pretty cool. You can access Mike's weather page on it. If you want more, you can subscribe to it. A lot of simple, easy to use links. And when we have a system, you'll get notifications. And there's a whole section dedicated to that system's graphics, like an invest. And then if you want to do more and join our mwpchat.com and have a lot of other perks with stickers and shirts and plethora of perks that we try to give you just for supporting our site, then check that out. And Shelly will send you an email so you can join the Brew crew, our special little private chat, and get notifications, watch the Daily Brew, and mingle a little bit more. And there's an Ask Mike section on there if you ever want to find out anything important, then I always answer that too on mwpchat.com. So it's hard when you got over 4 million followers to answer every question on social. It's hard. But the Brew crew, at least I try. So all right, so my plans today, tomorrow we're going to Daytona Beach. We're going to be live. I'm going to Palm Harbor here. We did it. So yesterday I did a walkthrough from Nielsen. We got our big Oldsmar Hurricane Expo. Palm Harbor's got one coming up. I'm going there to do a picture with them later this afternoon, if Sarah feels okay. She can sit in the truck, hopefully. And then we have one in Dunedin coming up, so we'll post about that. But the first and foremost expo is this Saturday, 10 o'clock, Oldsmar, win-a-free generator. I'll be speaking at 11:45. The generator drawing is right after that. So come on out and learn a lot about storms and talk to your local. Even FEMA's coming, so if you got questions, they got answers. I hope. And we'll be back live Friday, okay? Remember, we always want to know. We're back live Friday. That'll say Friday here in about 10 minutes. So next Daily Brew is Friday. And we'll start to see if we ever get any rain here